On the day my husband's first love was in difficult labor and hemorrhaging heavily, she sent him a message. In this life, we were not meant to be. In the next life, you must come to marry me earlier. My husband calmly put down his phone and chose to attentively care for me, who was also pregnant. I thought he had already let go of his first love. Little did I know that after learning his first love had truly died from a difficult childbirth, he never smiled at me again. Every day he silently poisoned my food and drink, doubling the supplements to make the fetus in my womb grow larger. It wasn't until the fetus became too large for a safe delivery that my husband finally revealed his true face, screaming at me. "Rhea must have suffered just like this, right? If you hadn't forced me to marry you, how could Rhea have died so tragically? This is all you owe Rhea. I want you to taste the pain Rhea felt in the end. I endured immense suffering and died from a difficult childbirth with massive bleeding. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day Wu sent that message to her husband, Levi Shin. This time I chose to let them be and would no longer stand in their way. 1. Darling, after the prenatal checkup, I'll take you to eat your favorite barbecue. A familiar voice rang out. I abruptly opened my eyes in the darkness and met Levi's gaze, which was so tender it seemed to drip with affection. If it wasn't a final surge of clarity before death, then I must have been reborn. Levi was driving with one hand pressed on my Hagu point. I get motion sickness, and he knows it. If I hadn't truly died once, I would still be immersed in Levi's tenderness. At that moment, Levi's phone vibrated and he quietly withdrew his hand. I caught a glimpse of the message on his phone. Just like in my previous life, the text message was from Rhea Wu. In my previous life, I didn't even ask or pay attention. Even if I knew who sent the message, I still felt no sense of crisis. I trusted Levi Shin, hiding the hatred in my heart. I forced a faint smile and asked, "If you have something urgent to attend to, you should go ahead." I didn't deliberately point it out. 5 years were enough for us to understand each other's thoughts. Levi's face showed no emotion as he replied calmly. "It's just an insignificant matter. Your business is the most important." But after Levi finished speaking, he gripped the steering wheel tightly, his knuckles already turning white. In my previous life, I didn't notice these things. Levi Shan was just pretending not to care if he didn't truly care. Why did Levi Shan torment me day after day in my previous life when he learned that Rue died in childbirth? I can never forget the moment during my difficult labor when I was hemorrhaging heavily. Levi Shin's eyes were bloodshot as he gripped my neck tightly. His gaze filled with a ferocity I had never seen before. He said, "Ruby Rang, I finally waited for this moment. I'm going to make you experience everything Rhea went through. Do you know I never loved you? You forced me to marry you. If it weren't for you, how could Rhea have ended up married to that irresponsible trash? If it weren't for you, Rhea wouldn't have died so miserably, and I didn't even get to see her one last time. Ruby Rang, go to hell." I had no time to process the shock of it all, only the unbearable pain. I cried and begged Levi, pleading with him to save me. Levi's eyes were icy cold. Without saying another word, he simply watched as I bled heavily, struggling in agony until I died. Levi stopped the doctor from saving me. After I died, Levi didn't even collect my body. Instead, he knelt in front of Rose's tombstone. Crying uncontrollably, he gently stroked Ria's tombstone, murmuring to himself, "Rhea, I've avenged you in the next life. I will definitely marry you." I was shocked that for so many days, Levi Shan had been waiting for this moment. But clearly, Levi Shan once said he would only love me in this lifetime. In this new life, I won't get involved in the tragic love story between these two again. 2. Darling, what are you thinking? You're not upset because Rue contacted me, are you? Levi Shan suddenly stopped the car and his voice pulled me back to reality. His eyes were clearly filled with concern. But as I recalled the tragic death from my past life, my back was already soaked in cold sweat. I forced a faint smile. "Levi, you should go check on Ri Wu. After all, a life is at stake." I caught the unexpected expression on Levi's face, but I had no idea what he was thinking. Was he puzzled by my sudden generosity, given how possessive I used to be toward him, Or was he already eager to rush to Riwu, just waiting for me to say it? In the end, Levi still insisted on refusing. I didn't want to see Levi's insincere demeanor. My stomach churned with discomfort, so I suggested accompanying him to the hospital to visit Riwu. Levi finally agreed, but I clearly saw him secretly breathe a sigh of relief, his brows relaxing. Actually, Levi was right. I really did love him back then, but he never refused either. At first, Levi Shashan was just a small employee in my dad's company. If it weren't for dating and marrying me, he wouldn't be in the position he is today. My mom passed away early, leaving my dad to be both father and mother. Unfortunately, before I got married, my dad was also diagnosed with a terminal illness. My father never thought highly of Levi. But because I liked him, my father, lying on his sick bed, insisted on hearing Levi promise to love and protect me for a lifetime before he could close his eyes in peace. Back then, I thought Levi had some genuine feelings for me. Unfortunately, it wasn't until after I died in my previous life that I found out he only wanted to take advantage of my family's wealth. His lingering attachment to Riwu was only because during the years he loved her most. He had nothing to offer her. After I died, he had everything. But unfortunately, Ru was no longer around. From beginning to end, I was nothing but a joke. As I was reflecting on the events of my past life, the car came to a stop. Levi Shashan looked at me with a hint of guilt in his eyes, but he still gently helped me out. I subtly avoided Levi's touch and forced a casual smile. The baby is only 2 months old. I'm not that delicate for Levi Shin. This was the first time I avoided his touch in the past. I always loved sticking close to Levi. Even the slightest physical contact would make me happy for a long time. Levi froze in place for a moment, but still turned and hurried toward the hospital. His steps were rushed, as if he had forgotten that I was following behind him. Such eagerness had long betrayed Levi Shan's inner concern for Riwu, even though I had already made peace with it. Seeing Levi Shan like this still involuntarily stung my heart. 3. When I slowly walked over, Ru was crying in Levi's arms. I thought I would never see you again. Why did you marry someone else? Raya's pitiful appearance combined with her pale complexion was truly endearing. Even an outsider like me was moved. It was as if Riwu hadn't married someone else. Levi Shan tightly pursed his lips and did not respond. Yet his hand still honestly stroked Raya's back. After learning that Levi Shan and I were together, Ru hastily married someone. 6 months ago, that man got into trouble and was imprisoned. Yet she became pregnant. During that time, Ru sent countless messages to Levi, pouring out her hardships. Levi appeared indifferent, but he secretly sent her money behind my back. I never had a clear concept of money to begin with, and I paid even less attention to every penny Levi spent. If he hadn't slipped up in our previous life, I might still have been someone else's ATM. The nurse rushed in and bumped into me, causing me to lose my balance and nearly fall. You must be the pregnant woman's husband. Right. Hurry up and sign the surgery consent form. Don't delay her treatment. Levi didn't deny the nurse's assumption and hastily signed the surgery consent form. I stood at the door feeling like an outsider. In his previous life, Levi refused to sign no matter what. Indeed, Ru held a significant weight in Levi's heart. As Riwu was being wheeled away, she passed by Levi, holding his hand reluctantly with ringed eyes. Levi, I'm scared. Will you stay with me? Just as Levi was about to agree, he suddenly caught sight of me, and his words got stuck in his throat. I just curled my lips. Go ahead. After all, it's a human life with my consent. Levi Shan didn't hesitate for even a moment, pulling Riwu straight to the operating room. The ward instantly fell silent, and my thoughts gradually cleared. If Riru's condition were truly serious, she wouldn't have waited until Levi arrived. I didn't want to expose this kind of trick either. After a long while, Riru was finally wheeled out, still clutching Levi's hand tightly. The nurse looked at her with envy. Your husband is so good to you. Other men would have run away at the sight of such a bloody scene. But your husband didn't even blink from start to finish, staying by your side like this. The nurse's voice wasn't loud, but it was enough to reach my ears. Ru smiled shyly. Although I lost the child, Having a man like this by my side is enough. With that, Rue looked toward me, her eyes filled with provocation and pride. Indeed, Rue had every reason to be proud. Although Levi married me, his heart has always belonged to Rhea Wu. I didn't stay any longer and turned to leave. Such a warm and sweet moment should be left to them. Through the glass, I saw Levi looking at my back, his foot seeming to lift slightly. But at our eye was soft call, his gaze immediately shifted to her. The two of them returned to the ward together. I stood downstairs, my body trembling from the cold, having forgotten to bring my coat when I got out of the car earlier. And Levi Shin, who has always taken good care of me, didn't notice this minor detail this time either. For when I took a taxi back by myself and looked at the house we had lived in for many years, which was filled with traces of Levi Shin, I felt inexplicably irritated. The sweet memories of the past are still vivid in my mind. Levi Shan cooked for me personally, washed my underwear, and if I casually mentioned what I wanted to eat, even in the middle of the night, he would drive all over the city to find it for me. But all of this turned out to be fake. Perhaps the words Levi said before I died were still true. I called my lawyer and asked him to draft the divorce agreement, then scheduled an abortion procedure. After completing all of this, the weight in my heart lifted, and I sat on the sofa all night, numb and empty. That night, Levi Shan did not come back. Within reason, beyond expectations, I thought Levi Shan would keep up the act for a while longer. Fortunately, Rue did not die in this lifetime. At 5 o'clock in the morning, Levi Shan pushed the door open. Hearing the noise, I slowly turned my head. And when our eyes met, Levi Shan was momentarily taken aback. "Why didn't you sleep well?" It was clearly ordinary concern, just like usual, but I could no longer detect any emotion in it. Indeed, a person only has one heart. When you care about one person, there's no room left to care about another. Before I could speak, Rue slowly stepped out from behind Levi, a smile playing on her lips. "Sister Ruby, Levi insisted that I come stay at your place, saying, there's no one to take care of me right now. You don't mind, do you?" I furrowed my brow and looked at Levi Shin, who avoided my gaze without saying a word. Even the dullest person could understand the underlying meaning in Riri's words. She was showing off how Levi Shin would go so far as to upset me for her sake. And if I refused, I would be the unreasonable and unfailing one. I feel sick, not because of their sweet intimacy, but because the house is mine, and Levi Shan brought an outsider back without my consent. I let out a cold laugh and retorted to Levi, "Shouldn't you have said something to me?" Levi Shan was like a cat with its tail stepped on, immediately, flying into a rage out of humiliation. Ruby rang, "Don't be so cold-hearted. Okay, Rhea has no one to take care of her now and almost died in the hospital as her friend. Shouldn't I help her? You are my wife. You should be a little kinder to my friends." With just a few short sentences, Levi positioned himself on the moral high ground. If it were before, I would have endured it because I loved him and catered to his every need. I've already died once, killed by the person I loved most. In this life, I will never let myself be wronged again. I let out a cold, scornful laugh. "You seem to have forgotten. This is my house. Everything you have is mine. I have a cleanliness obsession and won't let outsiders live in my house. Nor will I allow the person I love to have someone else in their heart." Levi Shan was taken aback, seemingly not expecting me to reject him so firmly. And for a moment, he just stared at me. Rhea Wu immediately burst into tears, grabbing Levi Shin's arm and said, "I know I'm an extra person. My husband is in prison. My parents have cut ties with me. I shouldn't drag you down. I'll leave right now. Please don't argue because of me, okay?" The frost on Levi's face instantly melted as he looked at our Wu with heartache, directly pulling her into the room, as if saying it for me to hear, "Don't worry. Just stay here. This house is half mine, too. Rest assured. Even if everyone in the world abandons you, I won't." Levi held our Wu's hand like this as they passed by me. Rue curled her lips smugly, raised an eyebrow at me, and said to me with her lips, "Fool, how can a sudden newcomer compare to her first love?" I smiled indifferently. I didn't need Rue to tell me this. I've known it all along. 5. After settling Ri Wu, Levi Shan came downstairs and approached me, his tone suddenly softening. Honey, you know Rhea has no one else to rely on but me now. Please don't be angry. Okay, I'll take care of all the housework this month. As he spoke, Levi reached for my hand, but I sidestepped to avoid him. Levi's movement froze midair. I wanted to flare up to demand why Levi was treating me this way, why he would marry me when he clearly had someone else in his heart. Why did he have to kill me in the previous life? But the answers to some questions were already clear. Anyway, I've already decided to quit, so let's keep it dignified. So I reined in my nearly explosive anger and said calmly, keep an eye on your friend. Just don't disturb my life. I emphasized the word friend heavily. Levi Shan has never been aware that I know Rhea Wu is his first love. Or perhaps he has already sensed it, but is just deceiving himself. Levi Shan wanted to say something more, but I had already put on my coat and was about to leave. Today I am going to have an abortion. Living in a family full of lies is unfair to this child. As I lay on the operating table, the coldness from behind reminded me of my tragic death in my previous life. I was also lying on such a cold operating table. Then, the light above making it hard for me to open my eyes. Yet, I still remember the venomous look in Levi's eyes under the influence of the anesthesia. I still lost consciousness. I'm sorry, my child. In my previous life, I couldn't bring you into this world. And in this life, I still couldn't. Forgive your mother's selfishness. I cannot let you be born into a family without a father's love. Nor can I arrogantly assume that a child from a single-parent family can still be happy. When the nurse woke me up, my head was still groggy, and I even felt the emptiness in my lower abdomen, as if a piece of my heart had been carved out. I returned home with pale lips. And as soon as I entered, I could smell the aroma of food. Levi Shan was cooking seriously in the kitchen. While Rhea Wu sat by the island counter with her chin in her hands, if this home weren't mine, the two of them would truly look like a loving couple. The one who once promised to cook only for me can now cook for others as well. Levi probably heard the door and turned to look at me. I glanced coldly at the chicken feathers in the trash and couldn't help but vomit. I am afraid of sharp-beaked birds. Just seeing feathers gives me small red rashes on my body. And I never eat poultry. Levi knows this too. And such things have never appeared on our dining table. But for Rhea Wu, Levi could ignore everything about me. Levi followed my gaze to the chicken feathers that hadn't been thrown away yet and explained guilty. Rhea is weak now and needs to be nourished. I'll clean it up right away. I withdrew my gaze and responded lightly. I originally intended to go back to my room to rest, but as I passed by Rhea Wu, she grabbed my hand and fell backward herself. The loud noise caught Levi's attention. Rhea Wu burst into tears instantly, appearing weak and aggrieved. She looked at me. Sister Ruby, I know I'm in your way here. If you tell me to leave, I'll go right away. There's no need for you to push me just to vent your anger. Levi Shan didn't even have time to dry his hands before rushing over. He pushed me hard and I fell to the ground. I felt a warm wet fluid flowing from my lower body. When I looked down, I saw that my white pants were already stained red with blood. Ruby rang. You knew perfectly well that Rhea just had surgery and is still so weak. Yet you still laid hands on her. Are you even human? I never imagined you could be such a vicious woman. I smiled bitterly. True disappointment isn't about making a scene. And this moment gave that phrase a concrete form. Rue just had surgery. And so did I. If Levi had paid attention to me, he would have noticed something was off. But he didn't. Never mind. Levi picked up Rhea Wu with concern and glared at me fiercely. You reflect on this properly once you've thought it through. Go to the hospital and apologize to rethink carefully. Have I been too good to you all these years? Spoiling you to the point where you have no regard for rules and lack even the most basic empathy. 6. Rue raised an eyebrow at me from an angle where Levi couldn't see. I called out to Levi, who was about to rush out, and he stopped impatiently. What else do you want? Are you only satisfied if Rhea dies? I took the divorce agreement that the lawyer had just sent me out of my bag and handed it to Levi. Levi, let's get a divorce. Levi froze. What are you making a fuss about again? You're the one who did something wrong. How can you say you want a divorce with such confidence? I sneered, lifting my chin toward the surveillance camera. If you have eyes, go check the footage. I don't believe you can't see through such a clumsy trick. Don't think everyone is as foolish as you are. Raya's face instantly turned pale. She probably never expected that we had surveillance at home. Levi, don't blame Sister Ruby. I'm sure she didn't mean it just now. Please put me down. I'm fine. Just moments ago, Rue was crying and demanding that Levi stand up for her, but now she was anxious to smooth things over. Levi Shin could easily see the reason behind this. His gaze toward me instantly softened. It's all a misunderstanding. It doesn't have to lead to divorce, honey. You know, Rhea just lost her child and isn't in a stable emotional state. Please be understanding. I never expected that. Even with the facts right in front of him, Levi Shan could still find an excuse for Ri Wu. The feelings I once had for Levi Shan were truly laughable. I said indifferently. She lost a child. And I lost a child, too. So, if my emotions are unstable, shouldn't you all be understanding? Upon hearing this news, Levi Shan lost control of his emotions. He threw Ri Wu aside, rushed over and gripped my arm tightly, frantically questioning me. What have you done to our child? I lowered my head and looked at my pants, now stained with dried blood. Levi followed my gaze, his expression dark and unreadable. I quickly added, it's not your fault. I already had an abortion. Your push just caused the wound to reopen. I'm not the kind of person who casually pins blame on others. Levi frowned. Why? I don't know why Levi is feeling so sad now. In the previous life, he didn't care about our child at all. Even when it was a girl about to be born, Levi didn't even glance at her body. Now, it's only been 2 months. So, what is Levi Shashan reluctant to part with? Perhaps he had been acting for so long that even he started to believe it himself. I only felt a sense of irony as I handed the divorce agreement back to Levi. Because I want a divorce. I won't let my child have a father who is constantly distracted. Since the two of you are so deeply in love, why don't I just step aside and let you be together? 7. Levi Shan stood frozen in place, unable to speak for a long time. Seeing this, Rue immediately stepped forward and linked her arm with his Levi. Since Sister Ruby wants to grant us our wish, just sign the document. Now that you have everything, you can fulfill the promise you made back then. Raya's calculating intentions are practically hitting me in the face. While Levi Shashan was still hesitating, Rue directly handed the pen to Levi Shin and guided his hand to sign the document. This whole sequence flowed so smoothly that Levi didn't even have time to react. This counts as the second time I've thanked Ri Wu. The first time was Riri's death, which allowed me to see Levi's true colors. The second time was because of her intervention. I was able to get a smooth divorce. Rue handed the divorce agreement to me, smiling triumphantly. Sister Ruby, do you need me to help you pack your things? After all, you're already divorced, so it's not appropriate for you to continue living here. At this moment, Rue already considered herself the mistress of this villa. I unhurriedly placed the divorce agreement into my bag and smiled gently. Miss Wu, I don't think you're aware yet. Everything from my Ren family is premarital property between me and Levi Shin, including this villa. If there's anything that belongs to Levi Shin, it's probably that beat-up car in the garage. After I finished speaking, I watched Ri's face gradually darken. I have to thank my dad for all this. He told me not to give anything of our Ren family to outsiders. I had a prenuptial agreement done before marriage. After the divorce, Levi won't get a single penny. Even the deed to this villa is in my name. I saw Rue wasn't speaking. So I asked in return, do you need me to help you pack? Riri Wu was so angry she stomped her feet. Then she nudged Levi Shan. Levi, why aren't you saying anything? You've been with Ruby Rang for so many years. How is it possible that you didn't get a single cent? It was probably Ria's words that pulled Levi Shan out of his thoughts. His vision cleared and he abruptly shook off Riri's hand. Shut up. Riri Wu was startled by Levi Shin. His eyes were red at the corners as he stared at me. Wife, Why are you so insistent on getting a divorce? Is it just because I pushed you earlier? Or are you upset that I brought another woman home? I apologize to you. I was too impatient just now. If you mind, I'll drive her out. Okay. Please don't abandon me. Levi Shan's voice was choked with sobs. I couldn't tell if he was being genuine or not. Or perhaps Levi Shan had just seen through Rhea was true nature. Indeed, Levi has been with my father for so many years and has long become a shrewd person. If Rue truly couldn't let go of Levi, she wouldn't have gotten married and had children. Nor would she have turned hostile upon learning that Levi Shan wouldn't get a single cent. 8. It turns out that when his first love was still alive, Levi could also be reluctant to part with the person by his side. Was it me? He couldn't bear to part with our child or the power I brought him. I lazily lifted my eyes and gave a faint smile. You were the one who abandoned me and the child first. Even though I knew Levi wouldn't understand what I meant, it still felt like I was finally releasing the grievances from my past life. When Levi moved out, I was already asleep. Whether in these past 2 days or in my previous life, I've always felt exhausted. In my dream, a soft, chubby child ran up to me. She took my hand, and as I crouched down, she stood on her tiptoes to pat my head, speaking to me in a sweet, childish voice. Mom, thank you. I don't know what she's thanking me for when I've clearly deprived her of her rights as a human being. When I woke up, the pillow was already soaked. The empty villa no longer carried Levi's presence. All his belongings had been moved out. Even if he was unwilling, I had ways to make him leave. Levi is intelligent and understands me well. He knows that once I've made a decision, I won't change it. Rather than being thrown out by the bodyguards, it would be more dignified for Levi to leave on his own unexpectedly. Without Levi, I didn't feel the slightest bit of discomfort. Indeed, someone you knew from the start wouldn't last should have been let go. It's a pity that in my past life, I was too stubborn, clinging to that little bit of false affection as if it were honey. After I had fully recovered at home, I went to the company and began taking over all the affairs with Levi around before I was able to enjoy a carefree life. Being a manager is not an easy task, and I even had to start learning from the very basics, working late into the night every day. Yet, I felt an unprecedented sense of fulfillment. A month later, as I dragged my exhausted body downstairs, I saw Levi Shan standing under the street light outside the company building, his shadow stretching long and slender. Over the past month, Levi Shan also tried to contact me, but I blocked him. I heard from mutual friends that Levi Shan was in a car accident. Although it was just minor scrapes, he also suffered a mild concussion. I didn't show too much concern, but I did ask a friend to deliver a fruit basket to him on my behalf. It was also a token of gratitude for Levi Shan's dedicated efforts in managing the company for me over the years. When I saw Levi Shan again, his hair seemed a bit longer, and his eyes were filled with exhaustion. I had intended to ignore him and walk right past, but Levi Shan ran over and grabbed my wrist, his eyes holding emotions I couldn't decipher. Guilt, regret, and affection. At this thought, I let out a self-mocking laugh. How could Levi possibly love me? Mr. Shin, please be mindful of your behavior in public. I unceremoniously shook off Levi's hand and spoke sternly. 9. Levi stood somewhat awkwardly before me, yet his eyes remained fixed on me. You've returned, too, haven't you? This sentence was like throwing a bomb into a calm lake, instantly stirring ripples in my once untroubled heart. I didn't seek revenge on Levi, only because the actions were committed by the Levi of a past life, and I couldn't do anything to him without reason. But the Levi Shan at this moment has once again ignited my overwhelming hatred for him. I stared straight at him like this, and even without looking in a mirror, I knew how terrifying my gaze must have been. Levi seemed to confirm his suspicion from my expression, and he gave a bitter smile. I'm sorry. Just a simple I'm sorry could make up for the suffering I endured in my past life. In Levi's mind, I must be really easy to appease. I sneered. Levi's eyes were filled with desolation. I finally understand what you meant by that sentence you said on the day of our divorce. I'm sorry for what I did to you and to our child. Well, now that I know everything, I won't hide anything anymore. Mr. Shin, now that you've gotten what you wanted and are with your first love, Please don't bother us anymore. Since you know why I hate you so much, you should know better than to disturb us. We have no relationship now, and no one will stop you from being with Rhea Wu. Let's keep things dignified between us. Sometimes I resent my own kindness and soft-heartedness. I could easily ruin Levi, but all I want now is to stay away from him after all. Levi Shan isn't worth me having blood on my hands. Levi's thin lips moved slightly as he slowly stepped forward, raising his hand to try and hold mine, his face full of hesitation. I took a step back, feeling nothing but amusement. What are you trying to make Rue misunderstand? Levi's hand paused, his voice. I'm not with R.I. Wu. You know, since you died, I haven't had a single peaceful night's sleep. I thought I hated you, but slowly I came to realize that the one I've always loved is you. Please give me a chance to make it up to you. Okay. In my previous life, I didn't know much about what happened after I died. But seeing Levi's deep affection only made me sick. My eyes were icy cold. The reason you can still stand beside me completely intact isn't because I still have lingering feelings for you. It's because I've shown you mercy. I won't become someone like you. But if you continue to cause me trouble, I don't mind making you experience the same pain I went through. Levi wanted to say more, but he was frightened into silence by a single glare from me. I turned and walked away. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. 10. Actually, I had long learned from mutual friends that Riot's initial motivation was never the so-called mindset of, as long as it's not Levi Shin, marrying anyone is the same. Riri Wu had always liked that man. But she also wanted to leave herself an escape route, which is why she said those things to Levi, making him think that R.I. Wu had married out of despair. Indeed, anyone with a brain should understand that Ru could have remained single and waited for Levi Shan all along. How could she marry and have children with someone she didn't love? And after Levi Shan and I divorced, Ru didn't believe that Levi Shan hadn't received a single cent from the settlement. So, she kept clinging to him. Even the car accident happened because of a sudden argument between the two of them in the car. Ru asked Levi Shan to go and demand the property that rightfully belonged to him, but Levi Shan refused. Ru then made a scene, even grabbing the steering wheel. The car lost control and crashed into a utility pole. Although Levi injured his head, his mind became clearer. Perhaps that once gentle and dazzling first love had in an instant become utterly detestable in his previous life. Levi couldn't forget Ru simply because Ru died in Levi's heart during her most beautiful years. I got into the car and saw Riri Wu running angrily toward Levi Shan through the rearview mirror. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but based on Ro's lip movements, I caught some fragmented information. Things like, a dog can't change its habit of eating, __, always eyeing what's in the pot while eating from the bowl, and am I not your favorite woman? Why are you looking for Ruby Rang? Levi Shishan's eyes were filled with exhaustion and disgust. Yes, Levi has always been this kind of person. When he had me, he was thinking of Riri Wu. Now that I've let them be together, he comes looking for me again. Levi pushed Ru away and only said, I never agreed to be with you. Don't follow me anymore. Ryu was enraged by embarrassment. Do you think I care about being with you? You were just a poor loser before. If it weren't for the Ren family's wealth, who would even look at you? Ru finally spoke her true thoughts. I thought Levi Shin would be upset. But instead, he smiled with relief. That's right. Without Ruby Ren, I'm nothing but a dog. Are you satisfied now? Can you get lost? The outcome of the matter was that R.I. Wu left in anger. And since I had finished watching the drama, I stepped on the gas and drove away. In the rearview mirror, Levi Shan was staring intently at my car. To say that when Levi Shan came to find me earlier, I wasn't sure if he truly regretted it. But at this moment, I can confirm that he really did regret it. For a shrew, he gave up a wife like me who is wealthy, beautiful, and talented. Isn't this exactly what Levi wanted? 11. I thought Levi Shan was a person with dignity and would no longer have any interaction with me. Unexpectedly during the company's interview period, as the interviewer waiting for the next candidate to arrive, I opened the door and saw Levi Shin. Levi Shan looked refreshed and had clearly dressed up carefully for this interview. Everyone present knew Levi Shin. He was once the general manager but had now become an intern. Everyone exchanged glances, cautiously observing my reaction, and I did not shy away from Levi Shin's intense gaze. After I asked a few official questions, I put down the pen and looked up at Levi Shin. What do you think gives you an advantage over those younger candidates? Levi spoke confidently. I've worked here for 5 years and served as general manager for 3 years, so I understand the company's development direction better than anyone. Only I can truly help you. Levi was too confident, and the entire room fell silent. I just curled my lips and spoke unhurriedly. The company has long been updated. What I need is vibrant new blood. Your era is already over. Not just the company, but also the past feelings. I just want to let Levi know that I have started a new life and will no longer dwell on the pain of the past. Levi's expression told me that he understood the underlying meaning of my words. And for a moment, he didn't know what to say. I continued speaking. Sorry, Mr. Shan doesn't seem to meet our company's recruitment standards. Next, wait. Levi Shan stopped me and looked at the 2 interviewers beside me. You 2 step out for a moment. I need to have a word with your CEO, Ren. The 2 interviewers seemed hesitant and looked at me with uncertainty. I couldn't even be bothered to lift my eyelids. It seems there's nothing left for me to discuss with Mr. Shin. We're currently working, so if there's nothing important, please don't interrupt our work. Levi grew anxious. He stood up, placing both hands on my desk. Ruby, I admit I was wrong. I truly was. Just let me stay by your side. I'll do anything. I can't live without you. The 2 interviewers beside us covered their faces with their notebooks. Obviously, the current situation is not suitable for them to stay, but since I haven't spoken up, they have no choice but to tough it out and remain present. The interview office was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I could even hear Levi's heart racing wildly in the past. I gave Levi many opportunities. I gave him all the love, power, and money he could want to the point where I didn't live a single day as my true self in my final moments of my previous life. All I wanted was for Levi to save me. But Levi's indifference was beyond my expectations, making me realize that I was a complete fool. Levi's eyes were fixed intently on me, his trembling hands betraying the tension within him. His gaze shifted, as if pleading, as if hoping. I slowly curved my lips and spoke the most terrifying words in the calmest tone. Then go die. As soon as the words fell, Levi seemed to lose all strength, his previously straight posture slumping. 12. I don't know what kind of mood Levi Shan was in when he walked out. He only left one sentence. If my death can atone for the wrongs I have done to you, then I will do it. I didn't respond, but simply called the next interview as if nothing had happened. While I was interviewing the next person before I could even ask the second question, a commotion broke out outside. Someone has jumped off the building. My brow twitched. Everyone around me rushed out. I leaned back in the chair, not looking at the tragic scene outside. Even without looking, I knew the outcome. Suddenly, I remembered how at the wedding, Levi ignored the MC's script and secretly kissed me. Perhaps Levi Shan really did like me. You really are as self-righteous as ever. I sniffled and stood up. After all, I still need to clean up the mess that followed. Levi Shin, we are even.